Every child grows up with a head full of stories, and stories are powerful because the ones we believe about ourselves shape the way we live, the choices we make, and ultimately the story we write for ourselves. For many children growing up in the cycle of generational poverty, the story often goes like this. You have no future, no potential. There's no way out of the world you're born into. Your highest hope is just to survive, just to make it through realities like abuse and neglect. And when you're born into this kind of story, it's not just that your resources are limited, but your vision is limited and your choices are limited. And under the weight of this story, it's nearly impossible for a child not to become the liability they already believe they are, to give up on school, to fall into substance abuse, to become incarcerated, to become parents in their teens. And when they believe this story, a child is destined to pass on these patterns and cause the cycle of generational poverty to continue. And when this story perpetuates across the 2.2 million children in poverty, across cities, across generations, so does the cost that it takes on society. But what if someone were to step in and tell a different story? What if someone said, you're not a burden, you're not a liability, you're an immensely valuable asset, a person that is worth investing in? For over 20 years, Friends of the Children has been telling that story. Friends of the Children is a nonprofit organization that's transforming lives and breaking the cycle of poverty through the power of relationships. We've found that all it takes is one person to show the way out, one person to stay by a child's side for the long haul, no matter what, to enable them to thrive. To that end, children who enter the program are paired with a friend who will guide and support the child for their entire 12-year journey through school, from kindergarten to graduation. These friends are full-time, paid, trained professionals who help children live out a better story every day. This kind of commitment has monumental effects on the system of poverty. Although 60% of these children have had parents incarcerated, 97% avoid the juvenile justice system. Although half of these children have parents who dropped out of high school, 85% graduate. Although 85% of these children were born to a teenage parent, 98% avoid early parenting. These kinds of breakthroughs have the power to change our entire economy. The Harvard Business School Association of Oregon estimates that helping one child live out a new story can save the United States around $900,000. Each dollar invested in a child returns 7 to the community. And what those numbers fall short of capturing is the immeasurable value of changing a life. At Friends of the Children, we've seen success, but there are millions of lives. The price is high, the demand is high, but the rewards are higher. Millions of children need to hear a truer story, a more hopeful story, one with a happy ending. Become a part of that story today.